and I see with X-ray eyes straight through the underground. Yeah, I am a wave, all my face up to the lights. I will be free. Yeah. And yes, I'll take my time, 'cause I don't want what is not mine. Like the heat from an invisible sun, thy will be done. I can make it come together. I'll make it come alive. And it's gonna get a little better. Invisible sun, thy will be done. You little monkey, you've escaped into the sky, where I can see you. Yeah, it's all a dream. All your shaking, blaming lies.
Mysterio, you were right. It's Liam Gallagher from Oasis, and Megatron got it right again. Results-oriented. Woof to you, brother. Mysterio, the mighty Mysterio from Winnipeg. Megatron. Adrian Blantz, good to see you. Nick Vincent, been a while. Good morning from the sunny Philippines. How is life in the Philippines right now? You are probably enjoying peace, quiet, and freedom. Love it. Nick's from the UK. Good to see you. Who else we got? Adrian, working tonight, just listening in. Hope you guys are doing well. A great work evening. Stack the cash money. Mr. Hemi, good to see you. I just went, just thought I would go live. I had a couple things. I just got done talking to my son, my youngest. He's 19. Last couple hours, we just talked about some emotional things that he's processing. And I gave him some advice, which I'm going to give you guys tonight, which has helped me, and hopefully it helps him as well as those that listen. Can't wait to get back to the UK. You've been there, I think you've been a month? Been out there for a while. Men struggle when they don't know how to process their emotions. It's the bottom line. Every one of us has been in a situation where we were angry, emotional, sad, frustrated, and we might have lashed out. Something might have happened. We all had to learn how to process emotions. Some of us had good parents that taught us how to do it. Some of us didn't. I grew up in a family where we didn't talk about emotional challenges, going through difficult times. We didn't talk about it. It was almost as like you just pushed it down, and eventually one day it would erupt like a pressure cooker. Pedro, good to see you. See him back. And so men struggle, especially during relationships, a breakup, a rejection, what have you, and they don't know what to do. And a lot of men snap. They might snap individually, maybe start drinking, start doing things they shouldn't do, start being very addicted. Others might hurt people because they're hurt. They lash out that way. And so I think today's topic is how a man can deal with difficult emotions and circumstances in life. What I have done, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychotherapist, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a doctor. I'm somebody that learned how to process my emotions, and hopefully it helps others. As I showed my 19-year-old son tonight, and I told him, I said, you're going through a difficult time. The only way that you can get forward is you have to accept it. And he says, but Dad, I don't want to accept it. Why do I need to accept it? I said, your brain's going to be on a loop if you don't accept it. What does that mean? I said, if you can't accept what's in your circumstance right now and take 100% responsibility for your life, your brain will find ways to fix it. And you're going to be on a loop. Hold on, we got a new one here. SS Wildlife. Hi, Rad. My first time catching a live. Hope you're well today. Good to see you, brother. Let us know where you're from. Appreciate you being here, guys. Respect. Shout out to SS Wildlife. Good to have him. Timothy in the chat from San Pedro. Brandon Trueblood is back. Check out Brandon's channels and all of his community memes. They're funny as hell. But anyhow, you have to accept it. And it's as simple as saying, I accept the fact that I lost my job. I accept the fact that my best friend doesn't talk to me. I accept the fact that my wife hates me or my wife divorced me. Whatever it be, you have to say those words. I accept. I learned that on a plane ride back from Fort Lauderdale 7-8 years ago from a guy. This is right when I was processing, going through it, when I found MGTOW 2016, 9 years ago. He said, Rad, you have to accept whatever's thrown at you. Because if you don't accept it, you're going to be caught in that loop. Okay, fine, I accept it. I get it. Once you accept it, then the brain will figure out new opportunity, new plays in your playbook. I didn't understand it, but I do now. Just by saying those words, I accept what's happened to me. Results. Brandon actually and I hung out 2 years ago around this, actually September of 22. Results, but they say never meet your heroes. You don't want to meet your heroes like James Hetfield or Morrissey or, Robert Plant. You might be disappointed. Nick Vincent, Rudyard Kipling, when you meet with triumph and disaster, treat those imposters just the same. Great quote. So, number one rule, accept it. By saying those words, I accept this, whatever the circumstance, I accept the fact that I'm sad. Just say that. Second thing you have to do is move. Emotion is energy in motion. You have to move. It could be walking for a half hour, 45 minutes. It could be doing 25 push-ups in a row. Whatever you can do to move your energy. Again, and this is what I say. People go, but Rad, I can't get out of bed. I can't get off the couch. I can't do those things. I get it. I've been there. We've all been there. It's like saying this. Go look at a lake or a pond that doesn't move. It's just perfectly smooth and flat. It's not moving. Throw a pebble in that pond or that lake and you change the entire shoreline, even though it's a pebble that weighs 1/1,000,000th of an ounce or whatever, half an ounce. That small little pebble in that 10 million gallon pond just changed the entire shoreline. That's what energy does. Once you move, you literally shift everything. Number one, accept. Number two, move. Brian Guzman, you always have some great wisdom. Thanks for being here, brother. Appreciate you. I'm from Bay Area, born and raised. Rad, I've been following since your old channel. Good to have you, brother. I've been in the Bay Area. I lived in Danville and outside of Benicia, outside of Walnut Creek, Pleasant Hill. What part of the Bay Area are you from? Probably one of the younger guys here at 27. My parents' marriages issues throughout their life woke me up. Appreciate you being here, brother. You're my oldest boy is 23. My oldest is 26. So you are you're knowing this at your age is going to set you up for a great life. Had a training sergeant tell me your good day was yesterday. Embrace the suck, feel with it. Accept it. He's telling you, accept it. Realist Vision. You have to learn that all feelings and situations are temporary. Well said. Both good and bad. Once you accept that nothing is permanent, you lost attachment to it and it has no power over you. I could stop everything based on that statement right there. Well said. Third thing is you write a pros and cons list down. Accept, move, write it down. This is the issue with writing a pro, and I do pros and cons with everything. Business relationships, even when going through a divorce, dealing with potential choices in life, where I'm going to move, where I'm going, what kind of house I'm going to buy, what kind of car I'm going to buy. What a pro and con does list is it basically pulls out all of your thoughts so you can see clearly which is right. We did this tonight with my son. I did it with him a year and a half ago. He was unsure if he wanted to be a pilot or a skilled laborer or a medical professional. And we did the pros and cons and everything. He chose, and he had to get it all out on paper to see it. Pro and con will show you logically what you're thinking mentally. That makes sense? Timmy Kramer, the forever bachelor, pick up the heavy weights and do the work. There's something about moving your body, whether it's lifting, hiking, running, walking, it moves that energy. It's like that little pebble. I have a video on my channel that shows me throwing a pebble in a pond up on top of a mountain in Park City and how it moves that entire shoreline. That could be a thought. That could be an action. That could be something in your life that is so insignificant that you think it is, but it changes everything. Well said, Mr. Timmy. You've been a true brother to me, Rad, and I haven't looked back on anything else since. Megatron's like he's like my twin when it comes to music. He knows everything about music that I do. San Jose, born and raised. Fremont. You're a little south. Spent some time in Alameda, San Mateo. Actually, San Jose. I flew into San Jose Airport quite a few times. Is it San Jose Airport or San Mateo? I can't remember. It's been so long. Now live and work in Martinez. Ooh, Martinez. Concord, Pleasant Hill, so pretty close to you. The biggest red pill for me was my ex giving me the same issues my mom gave my dad. Deja vu. Well, you know what's interesting? Close to where you stay, Dan. But yeah, I know we used to go to, went down to, what's the Raging Waters, and went down to Santa Cruz through San Jose. But that's a different story. But appreciate you being here, brother. That place is expensive. San Ramon, Mount Diablo, You know what? I don't know if you know this, but there is a mall in Concord, California, Walnut Creek. An airplane crashed into it in the 80s or the late 70s. An airplane crashed into the mall. But that's interesting that you say your mom gave your dad the same issues that women. Well, female nature is universal. So it's no surprise to me that you experienced from your girlfriend what your dad experienced from your mother. Megatron, quit complaining and face reality, the red pill version. Well said. Stephen from Arizona. Good to see you, brother. What is going on in Syria? We know Stephen knows what's up. Gilroy, Big Lebowski. That's funny. I sold a gastroenterologist in Gilroy. There's some farming out in Gilroy, I tell you that. Flew into Sacramento and drove through Gilroy all the way down to, I went to Fresno on that trip. I moved, but at 66, it's getting harder. Magnesium and zinc, brother. Gone with John is back. Good to see Gone with John. Always, he's putting out massive amounts of, this is our OG of the channel, guys. Appreciate you being here. John knows a thing or two about raising kids, divorce, starting a business. Go to his channel and watch and learn from him. Nate, Bay Area represent. Come right, Santa. I did. I tell you, Santa Cruz, when I was 15, my dad let me go from Portland, Oregon to Santa Cruz. Slept in the car with my buddy. He was 16. He let us drive from Portland to Santa Cruz skated Derby Park, hung out on SoCal Avenue, went to NHS, which is Santa Cruz Skateboards. But rad, I love it. Love California. Wouldn't live there, though. It's too liberal for me. I live in West Michigan and have yet to have my MGTOW meetup. I don't think no one's going to Michigan. It's too cold. JR, good to see you, brother. Riff Rage is in the chat. I remember Raging Waters, the water park. The one in West Valley. Yes, it's not there anymore. It actually left. We had my son's 14th or 15th birthday party there 9 years ago. It was right after I left the house. We had a park in that sketchy West Valley area. Sketch. Good to have you, Riff Rage. Steven says it's a shit show and the news is full of crap. Of course it is. You gotta send me an email or text me and tell me what's up. Peppermint tea for better digestion. Well said. Same with licorice. Licorice tea is wonderful too. But let's get back to it. Acceptance, moving yourself, writing your pros and cons list down. I told my son, write the pros and cons down. The pros always outweigh the cons. So if a woman rejected, and so he's going through a kind of a weird situation with his girlfriend. Now, people say, Rad, why don't you tell her not to have a girlfriend? Because he's 19. He's got to learn sometime. And we had to write the pros and cons, and he started to listen. He finally realized, God, Dad, I can see it clearly. Yes, once you write your thoughts down, logically, men can literally change themselves by just reading. And you have to be generous on the pros and generous on the cons of your life. You will realize that the pros of that rejection or that breakup or the loss of your job is better than the cons. It's higher. Things will be good. Nick, been in Philippines 5 weeks, Rad, not impressed, mainly in the infrastructure. Thailand in the spring. That's what I've heard. I think Thailand or Vietnam would be much better. But hey, at least you got that experience. Jawara, good to see you, brother. Jawara's been around since the channel started. I might as well move to Vancouver, British Columbia. Lots of Chinese and Asians out in Vancouver. Great place. Man, there's a lot of wealth out there. Yeah, brother Rev secured that job in Denver. Congrats to Revster. I was on LSD at that park decades ago. It was crazy fun. Yeah, they tore it down. I think they're gonna build some sort of sports something, but I think they tore it down like 2 years after we were there. That was when it was literally the day before I left the house. So I moved out of the house the day after the birthday party at Raging Waters. Oh, so weird. Forsaken One, almost missed this live. Good to see you, brother. Tell me where you're at. Santa Cruz is full of homeless. Used to pop over there all the time for wildlife photography by the beach with just hobos by the beach. You got Watsonville, Santa Cruz, Carmel. Santa Cruz is cool. Santa Cruz is the Cabo, San Lucas of California. That's what I look at. Just chill. I have 3 years worth of journals that do all that work for me. There you go. Another thing, write that shit out. Get it out of your head. You can't process emotions and circumstances and feelings in your head if you don't get them on paper. That is a huge hack, a life hack. Write your shit out. Greg Terrible, I have found that listening to The Art of War relaxes me. Sun Tzu. Great book. Good to see you, Greg. The man will always be the prize. I don't care what Cosmopolitan magazine says, or Elle magazine, or Woman's World. Unless you can buy a home in cash, home prices and interest rates are still far too high to be moving around. Just to buy my house with 20% down, the mortgage, taxes, and insurance are over $3,000. And I live in a 2,000 square foot house. I mean, $3,000's a lot. God, when I first got married, our rent was $600 a month. We thought that was a lot. I can't see people leaving their warm houses to buy tea from Gregory. No money in tea, guys. Trogs in the house. Good to see you. From Liberal, California. My sister lives in Clovis. My dad grew up in Gridley, which is outside of Yuba City, Marysville, Chico, 20 miles from Chico. But yeah, it's unfortunate. California is a beautiful state, especially Northern California, which seems to be a little bit more conservative. But yeah, they got the woke mind virus, melted all their brains down in LA and San Francisco. But there's some beautiful areas. I wouldn't move to Lancaster though. I love San Diego. I love that city like nobody's business. My top 3 cities that I love: San Diego, Nashville, Boston. Sorry, Texas. Texas is cool, but San Diego, you don't need a car. You can walk everywhere. Fun vibe. Nashville, dope. Different world. Boston, history, easy to walk, culture, heritage, food. Just amazing. I write in a daily journal, always compliment myself on my workout and diet accomplishments. Holding a journal, having something written holds somebody accountable. I think that's valuable. Well said, Stephen. Imagine the cost of heating the tea house. Well, they're in Texas. It's probably more about cooling it. So my youngest is being a pilot. He's just got his multi-engine certification. Once he gets his hours, and which will probably be another year and a half, he has a job lined up with SkyWest, which is a Delta regional carrier. So, and my other boy is finishing up school. He's going to do marketing, engineering type stuff. So, yeah, I think it's a great path for both of them. And they don't have kids. They're not married. They're stacking cash. They understand money. So, but you got to let your kids crash and burn too. You can't pad their lives. They have to understand heartbreak. They have to understand debt. They have to understand how to make ends meet. Southern Oregon's dope. My brother lives in Medford, which is right outside of Ashland. I grew up in Beaverton, which is Northern Oregon. Juanita's Tacos and the Ensenadas. Timmy Kramer going to be out in San Diego in a few more months. Didn't the homeless problem spread to San Diego? Yes, there's more homeless than I noticed last time I was there, unfortunately. Bless their hearts. Only been to San Fran, almost moved to Palo Alto. Glad I didn't. That's a lot of money. Palo Alto started, didn't Apple start out of the garage in Google? Or was it Los Alamos? No, not Palo Alto. What was the other place? Lost something. I get tons of job offers from libtard states, most likely because of skilled people fleeing. But regardless of the dump truck of money they want to give me, all my poo-poos are suppressed SBRs. Well, you're all the way out fighting the good fight, brother. It's probably more adventurous where you're at. JR, I'd surf from San Diego up to Ventura County. It's all 10 cities and oceans are filled with magnum spikes and other unmentionables. Do you know they found fentanyl in dolphins? Dolphins are literally drinking the water and they're turning up positive for fentanyl. Is that not effed up? Dolphins are advanced humans. Go read about them. They're literally the most amazing, outside of the whale, the most amazing water mammal of all time. He's going to do it, Joara. Absolutely, brother. And don't enter into Faustian marriage contract and then marry a tea lady. See, yeah, you ain't mistaken, brother. You are not mistaken. Our country is like a sinking ship. I'd like to expat myself to Japan, soak in the culture. I want to visit Japan. I want to stay in a capsule hotel, play pachinko for 48 hours, drunk on sake and sushi, maybe find a little Japanese Hello Kitty gal and hang out for a week. Men's Daily Advice in the chat. Good to see you, brother. Guys, check out his stuff. He does some good stuff. He's married. He was married, divorced. He has a child. He knows what's up. Just watched Instagram shorts on lot lizards from Zona, Vegas. It's really sad and disgusting how far women have fallen mentally and physically. Forsaken one. Well, they're just doing the oldest profession in the world. Dolphins are grapey, says results. High on fentanyl. They're finding fentanyl in them. Man, there must be a lot of shipwrecks with the cartels. My friend has 3 sons. They have proper morals. I'm proud of my boys. I think they're doing well. But again, you can only lead a horse to the water. You can't make it drink, right? Be an example to your boys. Be an example, and to your daughters. Be an example of boundaries, of morality, of integrity. Realist says, I've been having philosophical thoughts recently. I've noticed that there is a lot of suffering in life. Do you feel life is a test, punishment, or both? Well, that's a deep question, brother. I think life is meant, it's just a level in the video game. We have to experience suffering. Do we label suffering as good or bad? I mean, that gets into Alan Watts types, Rumi type philosophy. But at my age, I'm with you, man. I mean, I'm contemplating more of the existence of life at 52 now than I've ever thought in my life. Like, there's something, and maybe Nick Vincent and Timmy can talk about this, and Pedro and everybody else. But as you get older, life becomes precious. Every minute counts. Do we want to deal with that minute trying to satisfy a nagging woman that's unhappy? Or do we want to put that minute on ourselves or our kids? Nothing in life is free. Everything requires a sacrifice. The price of success has been multiple failed relationships, failed marriage, missing my kids grow up, physical and mental injuries. You're not wrong, Stephen. Everything's a sacrifice. My buddy had a pachinko machine. Are your son and play karaoke and also sing karaoke in a real Japanese bar. Oh, hello, Sony, kamera. Brad, are your sons religious? I was raised devoutly Hindu and walked away from temple. Too much brainwashing and pressure for marriage and kids. They were until the divorce. They're more spiritual Christian now. But wow, raised Hindu. Hindu's got some great culture and great food. But you know what? We all have our own paths to carve in life. Even if our parents raised us well, we all have to choose. So, hey, as long as you have peace, quiet, and freedom, we respect that. I want to see the samurai culture too. JR, I've always felt tied to the Japanese way of life. I think Japanese are wonderful. They're minimalistic in nature, clean, but they have their own issues too. I love their history. It's the little things that are big things. Take your eyesight, for example. Would you sell an eye for $1 million? How about both eyes for 10? Nope. Manasseh, good to have you, brother. You're absolutely 100% right. There's some things we will not do for no matter amount of money. Life feels like a test. Feels like we're just in level 2 of Donkey Kong or Super Mario's. Discomfort means sacrifice, says Mega. Well said. We're in this world, but not of it. The physical world belongs to Satan. Our job is not to be corrupted by temptations. That's good thinking. Miss the taste of water beds in old Milwaukee. You still get old Milwaukee water beds. Boy, I had a girlfriend in high school had a water bed. Damn thing. Woo. Yeah, what happened to water beds? Then they became air beds. An experiment in free will, says Adrian. Better to learn when you're younger and build off those lessons and avoid possible situations later in life. And that's a great thing I told my boy today, Forsaken One. 19, I said, you're getting the playbook at this age. This is huge. Learning about rejection and heartbreak at 19 is better than 50. Nick Vincent says 50 to 65 really is the sweet spot for men. Use it wisely to your benefit. Well said. As I get older, and I'm 52. I turned 52 a couple months ago, but I start realizing that life is precious. Days are going quicker. What am I spending my time with? What do I want to leave? Where am I productive? What do I want to accomplish in the last 30 years? You can buy homes. I saw that like for 10 grand, Stephen. Japanese women, though few and far between, have kept that traditionalism like centuries before. Hey, if you're a black man, Japan is going to pay you money. They want black men to go to Japan. Google it. Waterbeds. Oh, waterbeds. What happened to waterbeds? Second stories and homes and apartments. That's true. Waterbeds would make me barf chunks. You get like what they call that seasickness. You need to take Dramamine every night. My parents grew up in India. My mom went to Catholic school. My dad was devout Hindu. I believe in Dharma, karma, and the 10 commandments, and they guide my life, but I won't. Religion's a difficult concept because I grew up really hardcore religious. I'm spiritual. I think religion has its place, but a lot of time it's no different than a woman running you. There's procedures and rules, and I have a hard time now with religion. I don't hate it. I think it's helped certain people, but for me, I believe I graduated from religion, so I don't really need to go back to it. I can take the good, but I can leave the control parts away. Does that make sense? Just say you graduated. Big Chris is back in the house. Good to see you, brother. Raymond, thoughts and mine. Good to see you. I was watching one of your videos. And the one I commented on. A great video. This Raymond does good stuff, guys. Check his stuff out. Appreciate you being here and your contribution to our group. Time is more precious than money as you get older. So is health. Having intimacy in a waterbed is a disaster. Waterbed intimacy for 300, Trebek. Anyone would trade money for time later? Absolutely. Do you think these rich guys, do you think Steve Jobs, what was he worth? $20 billion? He died at 58. Do you think his $20 billion he actually left a quote and he said, money doesn't do shit in the end. It's your relationships with yourself and others. That's what matters. So yeah, at this point in my life, when I was 25, I wanted to be a billionaire. I wanted my own private plane to fly whenever I wanted. I wanted all the big cars and exotic everything. I could care less about fashion. Just get me some nice skateboard attire or whatever. I just want to be able to fly and drive in style, live in a nice house with a big skate ramp and a big pool and lots of food and travel. I didn't need a golden bathroom. I didn't need a Rolex. As I got older, I realized that minimalism is the greatest wealth a man can achieve. They've always said the more things that a person has, the sicker they get. No wonder the Japanese live so long. They don't have a lot of things in their house. They have a futon. They have very minimalistic living. But these Americans who hoard everything and buy everything and hardly use it, waste. Not only is it a financial waste, it's a physical waste. It's a mental waste. Don't drown in a waterbed. My sons are doing well, even though they've come out of a shit show. Sex in a waterbed is all about wave frequency. Steve Jobs had his own personal ethos. He sure did. He's a very interesting character. I'm working towards a few hundred acres, off-grid shipping container house, and to be left alone. I think on Flagstaff, that would be a great place, or outside of it. Polska's back in the chat. I like you, Stuart. You're not like the other guys here in the trailer park. Don't get me wrong. They're building landing strips for gay Martians. That is a song called Stuart by the Dead Milkmen, which Bob is referring to. With money, there is freedom, but in the end, health is wealth more than any riches, says JR. Absolutely. At this point, I want my health. 65-year-old billionaires have to spend the rest of their life and their money going to the doctor because they did not take care of themselves mentally, physically, spiritually, or emotionally. They sought financial gain. You look at the Buddha, sat under a tree, came out of wealth. His father was a wealth man. Owned a palace, owned riches, stripped himself all of that and told people to want is to lack. To seek is to lack. Money didn't mean anything anymore. Experience and time and meeting people is all I care about. They want black men to move to Japan and impregnate their Japanese women, but unfortunately, black men are already there, acting a fool, ruining the reputation of civilized black men like myself. Big Chris knows. Yeah, bitchin' Camaro. Tell me how I drove up from the Bahamas. That was my first band I ever saw. Was the Dead Milkmen. I was 14 years old. 14 years old. Rodney Anonymous, Dean Clean. That was a great show. Adrian says the rich man's life never appealed to me. Seems sketchy. JR, punk rock girl. Yeah, you're for me, punk rock girl. The other day I took a walk to Zipperhead. I saw a girl that nearly knocked me dead. Punk rock girl. See, I know my stuff. What are you talking about? Sometimes I missed a little hair patch down below. Women were nicer before they went. I agree. I want a woman that has a nice patch. All the billionaires are building bunkers. No way to live. They're scared. They're scared. Got a boring day. Got nothing to do. Take a busload of retards to the zoo. Nick Vincent, acquiring stuff is the problem through life because your stuff ends up owning you. Well said. Storing it, insuring it, maintaining it never ends. Living out of 2 suitcases to me sounds like a divine dream. There you go. We are on the same wavelength. I think we are, Brother Raymond. Most of the world is pretty openly racist. And I don't understand that. It's got to be like a cultural thing, a familial thing. You know, you grew up with your parents being like that. I think black guys, Asian guys, Indian guys, European guys, white guys, blue guys, green guys, we're all, at the end of the day, we all have penises. We all have the same brain. Who cares what the skin color looks like? I mean, I can turn brown, red, and white, depending on the season. I love that term, graduated. Feel the same way. The last girl I had a situationship with happened to be LDS. I think she would be with me if I converted, and I'll never. A lot of LDS women want you to convert. Raymond used to hang at the library, Mercury Lounge. There you go. Botanica, less punk haunts. We could go all day long about punk rock. I'm monk, but I love the bush. It's probably because the first time I saw a penthouse, I was 12 years old, and it was 1984. Me and my cousin found my older cousin's penthouse stash, and it was big-haired women with big bushes. To me, that's a woman. A woman's got to have hair down there. Hopefully, it's trimmed up and looks good, but, you know, if it was a bush, I don't care. As long as they're a woman when they have bush. Trogue, I've been with the gal that's at a landing strip too. I'm not opposed to that. Lower East Side. Lower East Side. There's a song by Teenage Priest, and one of their lyrics is, on the Lower East Side. When I was 17, 18, I was following the Dead and getting heavily into Dylan, eating mescaline whenever it came around. You know, when I grew up in Oregon, Beaverton, outside of Portland, there's a lot of people that love the Dead. They had the little dancing bear sticker on the back of their Volkswagen. I don't know. I never got in the Dead. I was more into, at that point, alternative, the Smiths, New Order, Joy Division, The Cure, early Cure, like Head on the Door. What's the other one? Standing on the sea with the sun and sun, staring at the sand, staring at the band. I don't know. Okay. But yeah, never got into the Dead or Dylan for that matter. I was into Led Zeppelin, Cream, Pink Floyd in high school. I got into the Doors later in life. I should have been in the Doors in high school. It's been a decade. I don't even remember women. Attaboy. What's to remember? My Purple Pill friends want to come back after disappearing for years. I'm not trying to be buddies with your wife, dude. X-Mask. That's another issue. We got friends that are blue pilled. How do you deal with them? I don't have a lot of blue. I don't have a lot of red pill friends. I don't have any. I had one, then they became blue pill, got married again. But I don't have any red pill friends, except you guys. Those were the days. I remember the 11-year age range, my friends and I finding a treasure trove of nudie magazines. Boy, when I first saw a naked woman at age of 12, woo, talk about another dimension. Most of the women my age are rough. Well, at 52, they're not that much. They're nothing to shake a stick at. Very few women at 52 or over are attractive. The dead followers are like a zombie cult. Yeah. Rest in peace, Jerry Garcia. CJ says, out of 50 plus throwdowns, never saw any hair on them. Interesting. A lot of women shave. I don't know. I like a little hair. To me, that says she's a woman. If she doesn't have hair, I don't want to say the word. The Cars in Boston. Rick Ocasek for 300 Trebek. Raymond says, I don't have friends. Most of my friends are blue-pilled. I mean, all of them. I mean, I don't really have I don't hang out with my blue-pilled friends. Very rarely do I. Same, Brad, but I like bands like you listed and some thrash punk, well, everything except opera. Not a big fan of opera. Can respect it, but wouldn't pay for it to see it. Don't understand it. At this point, don't care. I'm vulnerable around religious women since I don't drink or party, and I'm very health conscious. They sometimes give me the illusion of hope that more traditional women exist. It's facade. Very rare. 1% to 2% are traditional, my friend. Unfortunately, 98% are not recommended in Rad's world. All of my friends and family have gone cuck. I'm the only one who's straight edge. Well said, brother. I think my brother, he's married 2 single moms. I think he's finding out about red pill, but you never know. Plantation is too tempting. Bob likes Frank Black from the Pixies. Black Francis Black. On a wave of mutilation. That's my favorite Pixie song. And I don't like the Breeders. Somebody hate throwing them out, but it was a massive collection, like 100 magazine. You can just imagine a group of 12-year-olds with 100 nudies. Oh, yeah. Greg says, I can't believe that you can't red pill civilians out here, even after the guys approaching 40 on their third woman. All of them has cheated on them. Yeah, you can't. You cannot. We do not recruit for this. A man has got to get to bottom, rock bottom to figure that out. Where is my mind, Trog? I don't know, brother. Let's see. Is it following the dead? Where is my mind? Okay. I should have caught that. Good song too, but Wave of Mutilation is my favorite. But Black Francis, Frank Black, he looks like a weird looking dude now. He's heavy, bald, looks like a fat little Buddha. 70s porn forests. It's a good song, Bob. Where are the Pixies from? Are they from Pennsylvania? Rad, what advice would I give you? I would say no. I would say this is what I would tell you. It's hard because I'm 52, you're 27. I've been through marriage and divorce and kids. I would say put your focus on yourself, finding what brings you peace, quiet, and freedom. And if a woman who is a part of the 1% to 2% pops in your life, then vet that person accordingly. But don't chase anybody. When you chase something, you push them away. How about that? ITR back in the chat. Good to see you, brother. ITR's been around for a while. Boston. They're from Boston? I had no idea. Been in remote logging camps. Dudes had entire walls of hairy poon. Angel in the centerfold. My blood runs cold. My memory has just been Jake Isles Band. JC from Texas, back in the chat. Good to see you. Love will tear us apart. Fortunately, he self-deleted. And then Bernard Sumner and the rest of that gang started New Order. Wow. Joy Division, that's a wonder. Actually, that album from Joy Division is amazing stuff. Seen the Pixies live in Chicago. My Uncle Pat, the fireman, died that night on the job. Rest in peace to Uncle Pat. I never saw the Pixies live, Timmy. The Japanese government will not prosecute its own people for harming a foreigner. Even though I'm completely done with dating in the West and Asian women are my kryptonite. Asian women are beautiful women. They just have a different culture. The Olympus Mons is the tallest mountain, Mons, 89,000 feet, 89K feet on Mars. Bob, I don't know what that means. Mount Olympus? I remember nudie magazines and mechanic shops. Oh, yeah, they had Heather Thomas and Heather Locklear. Remember? Who was it Heather Thomas or Heather Locklear in the hot tub, and she's pulling her bikini, her bikini bathing suit. Like one side, she's pulling it with her finger. Who was that? Heather Thomas or Heather Locklear? You guys know who it is. I think it was Heather Thomas. Was your daughter written back in the will? No. No, my boys are my beneficiaries. My boys are my beneficiaries. It is what it is. Maybe that changes, but respect goes a long ways. Disrespect doesn't. I just saw Pixies are on tour. I mean, the Pixies have a very different sound, very unique, good stuff though. But again, acceptance, how you deal with your emotions and circumstances, acceptance, moving yourself, writing your pros and cons, and even listening to music. That's part of the energy. Doing something, getting your mind out. Don't listen to music that makes you remember a past situation. Listen to new music, or music that you listened to before a certain individual or a certain circumstance happened. Airlines need to bring back smoking and hot stewards. JC, no, they haven't been at church for 9 years, ever since the divorce. They are not into it. Your boys turned out to be good, honorable men under your leadership. Well, hopefully, I mean, at this point, they're doing well. I mean, they're not on drugs. They're not on alcohol. They work. They take care of their bills. They haven't knocked up anybody. They haven't been in jail. They both have great paths ahead of them. And hopefully, they continue on that, you know. Raising kids ain't easy, brothers and sisters. It ain't easy. It ain't easy when you're divorced either. How many times I had to shut my mouth and deal with difficult emotions? Another thing, and this is a key when you're dealing with difficult circumstances, internal or external, talk with other men that understand. This is why these channels are so important. We help each other get through certain individual situations, experiences, you know, what to do, what not to do. So speak to other men. Never speak to a woman about a man's problem. Ah, gotcha, Polska. I see what you're saying. You're the same age as my dad, and that's pretty much the same advice he gives. I don't desire one-night stands, too much STD. Well, and it's dangerous. It potentially could be criminal if the woman gets mad at you. So be very careful. Glad your dad has given you good advice. But it's not easy raising kids. You know, it's you know, when I started my channel, I just wanted to do something that I shared my experience with other men, and they share their experience with me, and we get through this kind of life that we call life. There's a lot of men out there that are lonely, that there's nowhere to turn. There's no family member to turn to. There's no friend. There's no neighbor. And they find these channels that help them. Big John was the guy that helped me through everything. I listened to him, and I was strong, but I wasn't strong enough at that point. I needed to hear from others that I wasn't the only one. You know, the largest lesson men and young men have to learn is you are the prize. It took me 40 years to realize no woman on earth can compete with me. Why the F am I chasing them? Yeah, I told my boy that tonight. I said, you know what? You know what you get from your girlfriend? It's the affection It's the emotion you feel when she tells you she loves you, or she likes you, or she loves being with you. It's how you feel based on those external comments. It's not her. It's how she makes you feel. And he says, but I said, you know what? That's great. This is where it trips up men. Men will seek that from others. Men will seek that from people, but they don't seek it from themselves. I go, the best person that can help you feel those emotions of validation, of goodness, is you. Most men never understand that. They never learn that in life. The man that stares back at you in the mirror is the man that you need to respect. That's the man you need to marry, the person you need to be married to. Because once you're strong and within yourself, whatever's thrown your way in life, you can get through it because you've got the strength and the validation of the man inside of you. Women try to isolate us from the brotherhood, invade our spaces, demonized us. We are taking it back. Well, they've exposed the playbook, haven't they, Trobe? Women don't ask men for problem-solving advice. That's why Cosmo is successful. Well said, Greg. Do you have telepathy now? You're like the MGTOW Dr. Xavier. Good to see Bookshelf in the chat. Appreciate you being here. Even if a man picks the best woman in the world, he is the one settling, not the other way around. Well said. Nick, imagine how many big men, or how many men Big John helped on the quiet. Absolutely. The thing I liked about Big John is his message and how he delivered it. I needed a very strong, direct, badass message for me. And others like other people, Barbarossa's, Spitznets, Paul Proteus. It just depends on, we all have different flavors that mean to us, but at the end of the day, the message is very similar. I respect myself not to let women take my inner peace. Yeah, I mean, there's two men in you. There's an external one and there's an internal one. Most of us don't put the time or energy into helping that internal man. We rely on others to help that internal man. Well, what we need to do is respect ourselves. As JR said, not let a woman take our inner peace. I would rather come off as arrogant instead of hating myself daily. How many men hate themselves being in relationships because they're told they're not good enough? That's what we're trying to change here. We're trying to say that whatever a woman makes you feel, it's not her, it's how she delivers those words to make you feel a certain way. You remember, you have to process those words and those actions from that physical creature, that physical human. Your brain and your mind has to process it, and your heart. But it's just words and actions coming from somebody that has two breasts and a vagina. But yet we put so much emphasis on that person. We worship them. We pedestalize them. And that's what we're trying to change, that men are the prize. Men don't need that. Hope you see or hear from your daughter. Probably not, brother. It's been 1.5 years, Joara, but I appreciate that. John's still listening. Women like you, for who you are, then spend years trying to wear you down. Lots do. You have to love yourself first, and that often goes in one ear and out the other. But once that sinks in, with age and experience, it takes on a whole new meaning. How many of us were taught to love ourselves growing up? To accept ourselves internally, to not seek it on the external. My mom and dad would say, you'll find a woman that'll be your better half. Programming, they didn't know any better. Their marriage, they got married in 1968, so they're still married. But it wasn't easy. But how many times did my parents ever say, you need to have the best relationship is the one staring back at you in the mirror? They never said that. And they gave us good guidelines, but they never said the most important relationship is with you, within yourself. Jesus said it. Kingdom of heaven is within you. The most important reaction to one's difficult emotions and circumstances is to take it in, get introduced to yourself, allow time to heal, but not to react in the physical world. Acceptance, JC, absolutely. You hit it on the head. Betrayal of a woman is a great lesson. It can change your life for the better forever. Well said, bookshelf. I was taught to serve everyone but myself. A lot of us were. And I think we should learn to serve ourselves first so we can serve others without needing validation. All my relationship mates have been seeking outside validation of low quality women who do not deserve. I think, you know what, Stephen? A lot of us, most men have been in that situation, and most men will continue to seek it. They'll get rejected, they'll get divorced, they'll get cheated on, and they'll seek it in another woman because they haven't learned the true source of validation is the one staring back in the mirror. We all had to learn the hard way, Adrian. Me too. Trust me. I told my son that. I go, my heart's been broken 4 times in my life. I told him the first 2, the third, and the 4th was his mother. You have to go through the fire. You have to go through the dark tunnel. She's not religious anymore, brother. She's a 304, unfortunately. And I don't say that because I'm angry. I say that because that's the truth. She's in the streets. She's successful in her business, not in social circumstances because her father was removed even when I lived with him. But that's a different story. It is what it is. You pick and choose. You pick and choose in life. You choose wisely because consequences do follow. Simone, back from Italy. Good to see you, brother. Bonjour. What's your honest opinion on ancestry DNA test? I wouldn't do them. Do not give your DNA to a computer. That's just me. I do not want my DNA out there. Shaka, good to see you, brother. Sounds like Sunday didn't work out, but next time, let me know. Until God puts the perfect woman in front of me with flashing arrows and heavenly music, I'm good. I had to break it down for my son tonight about women. And I wasn't negative. We talked about female nature and male nature. And I said, at the end of the day, son, it's a tough situation, brother. At the end of the day, but I'm over it. I accept it. It is what it is. I don't tolerate disrespect. At the end of the day, women have 2 breasts and a vagina. They have a different brain than ours. They're pretty to look at, most of them. Well, we hope most of them. But it is what it is. You have to look past the physical. And very few men can do that. They can't look past it. They think that a woman patting them on the head and, oh, you're such a good man, will fill their tank. How long does it fill your tank? You got to fill your tank. You're still in Lehigh. When do you leave? Let me know. You can get on a train. I can pick you up at the station. It's only like literally a quarter mile from me. Front runner. Molte ben grazie. I wouldn't give up any samples to any company, but I have done some research the old-fashioned way. There you go. Yeah, I'm not interested in giving any of my DNA anywhere. I agree. I think the digital, if you look in the mark and the beast in the Bible, I think it's a digital control. That's what I think it is. Let me know. Just send me an email, Shaka. We used to ride down mountain bikes down there. Sorry to hear that, Rad. Can't imagine how hard that must be. It's fine. My younger sister's quite traditional because she had a traditional older brother. Well, my daughter would have turned out well if her mother and me were on the same page of raising routine, disciplined kids. Discipline not in being a drill sergeant. Discipline in being a productive person. Right? It is what it is. Few women don't wake up until they hit the wall, and then at that point, they are not attractive. Then they become very mouthy. Nick says chasing women and materialism when we're younger is what most of us do because of programming. It's only later in life you realize it's a crock of shit. And and Nick is a few years older than me. And then there's younger men. And as you get older, at 27, would I have known this? 27, we had our first kid. My first daughter was born when I was 27 years old. Think about that. She made 26 in March. And what did I know at 27? I was trying to pay a mortgage. I bought my first house at 23. Welcomed my second kid at age 29. My third kid at age 32. Trying to deal with marriage, dealing with the cliche of marriage. And as you get older and you look back and you realize certain trends and certain challenges and certain circumstances. Could you have told me at 22 that women are wacky? Could you have told me about female nature and male nature? Would I have listened? Probably not. Very few of us would have listened. Timmy Kramer did. Joara did. Rev did. Scotty Side did. Those are rare men. Well said, Nick. I thought the mark of the beast was the almighty credit card. Could be too. Could be the Federal Reserve. For some reason, why does it seem to me that the buzz in the brain for a man towards a woman is stronger than self-validation? We're physical, and I think our testosterone is such a controlling aspect of men's lives. It's a power. It's a God power, testosterone. It makes men do crazy shit. Modern love is only 100 to 150 years old. Well said, Stephen. We operate differently. Modern love doesn't work because it's not natural. No, it doesn't. Romantic love was made up. Men and women got together 250 years ago to create a family, actually to survive, to create food. Women, they have 15, 16, 17, 20 kids. Half of them died at birth or within the first 3 years by scarlet fever or something. They had no money. They plowed fields and they bartered. That's how they stayed alive. There was no such time of being emotional. You did your job from 5 a.m. to 8 o'clock at night. You showered once a week on Sunday. And you tried to exist. We have the easiest fucking life now. But it's also the hardest it's ever been. Hardest for relationships, hardest for families. These times have made it easy. You know how much it took me I had to mow a lawn 9 times. I got paid $7 to mow that lawn in 1980. I was 11 years old, 83. 9 weeks to earn $63. Good thing there was no taxes. To buy my first Walkman. It wasn't even a real Walkman. It was an Emerson. It was a knockoff. 9 weeks. Kids can earn it within a day and a half of working at Wendy's now. Different world. Chasing Poon is such a waste of time. I realized that at a much younger age, but biological imperatives are hardwired. Well said, Trog. Love has to be earned through shared hardest. I love my brothers in arms because we have suffered together. Well said, brother. I'm a bit nervous since today I'll most likely have an appointment with my English professor that would change my life professionally speaking. Don't be nervous. Show confidence, Simone. Confidencia. Confianza. Blaster Master. Romance is made up nonsense created by Hallmark to sell a dream to scent men. You are 100% right, Blaster. Good to see you. My last relationship ended at 23. Been single 4 years. My ex ended up running through 5 guys in a year. No surprise, brother Wildlife. Idle hands, Rab. You're seeing the results as we speak. There you go. War brides are prearranged marriages. Abducting chicks and taking them back to your lair was real back in the day for your species to survive. Well said, Greg. Bartering was the earliest form of transaction. Now it's all paper and electronic-based payment. You think we'll return that? Possibly, JR, possibly. Our easy life has costed us in romantic relationships. Well said, Mighty Mysterio. Simone, your English seems pretty good. He speaks very good. They behaved when they were spanked. I think women were a lot more tolerant back in those days when it was hard. 1800s, early 1900s. I think they kept their emotions at bay. They still they're emotional, but I think that the hardness and the sacrifice of life didn't allow them to express their crazy tantrums. Come to the Philippines if you want to see hardship, the poverty outstanding away from the cities. I've seen some of those videos, Nick, where they literally live on garbage dumps. There's shanties and ranchitos on literally garbage. I've seen videos where they're walking. There's electrical lines all over the place. It's muddy. It's dirty. They're walking through. Oh, that's hardship. You appreciate what you have. It was an Emerson knockoff. Remember Emerson, the TV, the radio? Remember Sanyo? Advertisement does play a major part of our society. Research the advertising history of Christmas, diamonds. Coca-Cola invented Santa Claus. Well said, Stephen. Christian Henney is back. Good to see our brother Christian. I always feel the pressure not to come across as arrogant. Just be confident. That's all. Nobody smiled in pics of 1800 folks, even paintings. They didn't. Life was tough, man. What was the average lifespan for a man? Was it, I think it was 51 years old in the 1800s. 1700s, I believe it was 36 to 38 years old. Huh. There you go, Christian. Even fast fashion is manipulating people. We have too many options at this point. That's a problem. She never really loved you. I think a lot of women have never really loved their spouses, their husbands, their boyfriends. Instead of supporting a single 304, passport bros are supporting her family. A lot of passport bros in the Philippines, right, Nick? Pablo is back. Raising a daughter as a single parent, it's a lost cause. Boys are more loyal to their father. Well said, Pablo. Mine are. 40th says Adrian. Women seem to like the spank shades of. They like that. Yeah, absolutely. I told my boy, I go, everything you think you should do for a woman, do the opposite. Watch the results. You're 31. It's not worth defending, Christian. You're well said. Raymond says, passport bro is a lie. No one proving me wrong. Guys, I've lived in South America for over 3 years. I've been to multiple South American countries. They are waiting for men that have money to spike your drink and steal from you while they're doing it to another 10 people. If you want to marry a woman, do not go to Dominican. Go to a place like down southern Mexico, outside of Puebla, a little place called Los Gatos, where there's 400 people, or Mucuchilles in Colombia, where it's an old cultural place, set up shop for 6 months, go to the Catholic Church every week, eat at the same place, provide value, and maybe you'll find a woman that's not going to steal from you. The only time a passport bro works is if you are a foreigner and you hook up with a foreigner in a hotel. That's it. Potential of you getting deleted or getting robbed is extremely high because all these women on Colombian Cupid are fleecing 10 to 15 other men, and they're most likely married, have a boyfriend, they all have kids. Prove me wrong. It's built. They do like getting spanked. Look at I Love Lucy. There is something going on here today in today's world. So it's hard to get together and easy to break up. Absolutely. Too many options. Raymond says they're waiting for your money. They sure are. The Jonathan Noble way is the only way. I think it's a great way. Spanish is easy, Raymond. I can teach you. Listen to the music and watch TV. When they say women are loyal to their feeling, it explains why they betray sons, fathers, husbands, and brothers. Well said, Greg. Well said. Spike drink cases never fully investigated. Nope. No, there's no investigation down there. Are you kidding me? They're just paid off. Too risky. Absolutely, JR. I mean, that's Raymond. I've been down there. I've been to Guatemala, Colombia, Venezuela, Mexico, part of Ecuador. 1993, you could be a passport bro. You'd have to meet him locally. Now the internet's changed everything. Even Guatemala. How many main Americans here in Dumaguete have to say a lot of simps in a lead held by a young girl? You're not wrong, Nick. Enforcing boundaries as a man equals controlling and abusive. A grenade was thrown into the nuclear family by unleashing women's desires. Well said, Trog. That passport, bro, is still not found. They found the guy in Philippines, the one that married that Muslim girl. Apparently, he's dead. Well said. Avoid women and avoid responsibility of leading to their destruction. Spanish is my segundo idioma, but I'd get unalived in Mexico. You got to be careful, especially in Sinaloa and outside of El Paso, Laredo. What would happen if there was no fault divorce? You'd still be nagged at. There'd probably be a lot of infidelity at this point. Brother Rad, we get another a problem. Apparently, the Norwegian media are telling that men are now opting for escort or prostitution. I'm not surprised anymore. This will only lead to traditionalism, destroy traditionalism. Well said. Foreign women. Yep. Here's the deal. People say, Rad, World War III is going to bring them back. No, it's not. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. They're going to hide behind you because they don't want to be deleted themselves, and they're going to need food because they probably didn't prepare, but the programming is still in their head. The programming from I would say 7-year-old women and below is already there. It's not going away. The programming is too deep. There's not going to be a world war, an economic disaster that's going to make these women come back and be traditional wives. You can kiss that ass shit goodbye. It ain't going to work. Because once the good times come back, they're going to go back to the streets. Prove me wrong. A lot of drinks are spiked. So there's a place called what the hell is it, man? Where am I going here? It's in Cabo. It's down on the main strip. Squid Row. Squid Row is it's probably one of the oldest restaurant bars in Cabo. Been around, 30, 40, 50 years. I think from the early 80s. It's got a bunch of levels, metal type bridges that go across, and you can sit up there and so forth. It's a little cool place. Expensive. It's all American. I don't go there because I like Mexican. I eat where Mexicans eat. I sleep where Mexicans sleep. I'm not a gringo when I go there. I want to be Mexican. Fortunately, it's hard for me because I got blue eyes. But I speak the language. I take the bus from the airport just like Mexicans do. I stay in Mexican hotels. Sometimes I stay in my Fairfield Marriott because I got points. But at the end of the day, the Squid Row's got levels. There are people with eyedroppers because people leave their cups, their margaritas, eyedroppers full of a substance that'll make you forget life, and they drop them in cups. And then they follow you when you're tipsy, and they take control of your wallet and maybe other things. Very dangerous. Never, ever, if you are going on a foreign trip, never, ever drink a mixed drink. Ever. Unless you bought the margarita mix and the tequila and you opened it yourself in your hotel room. Never, ever drink a mixed drink. That'll save you 99% of deletion. It seems like men and women need more space than togetherness to stay the long haul. Well said. Women sleep with the victors. They wait at the finish line. The mental health from dating apps is out of control, brother. Rad's with a long one. Not as long as yours, John, but I do like your long ones too. Women are only as good at or pretending as society lets them. Too many beta simps defending them. Absolutely. It seems like men have better longevity being a movie star over the women. Julie does not have the dross she used to. Look at Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise. I mean, yeah. Now look at their leading ladies are 30 to 40 years younger. Drake put the hot sauce on everything. Women don't like a lot of what men's decisions are, unfortunately. They don't respect men. I have known a ton of dudes that have got robbed chasing poon. So again, do not get mixed drinks ever. Drink beer and have them open the beer in front of you and the water or the soda pop. Trust me, too many guys I've heard, they drive by. So easy to make a mixed drink and throw whatever you want in it. And don't leave your beer or your liquid alone if you have to go to the bathroom. Take it with you. Well said, Christian. Not even a mixed drink from room service. Nope. Nope. I'm telling you, look. And if you're eating food, hopefully you can see the food being made, or you're eating good restaurants. And even on like, but the food's not a big issue. You might get sick from those bichos, from the bacteria, but you just got to build up a better gut. I think they're oblivious, JC. They're old men that are running it. They have no clue what's going on. Probably none of them know how to turn on a computer. The church, they don't know how to handle it. You know what they say? Love thy neighbor as thyself. They don't understand. They put women in the LDS church on a pedestal. It's the man that's the problem. They literally believe the woman is very sacred. If there's marital problems, it's the man's fault. Why do I know that? Because I came out of it. I'm praying for this new job in the Mediterranean, but I'm here to work and not enjoy not getting shot at. I will not be banging the locals. Yeah, you don't, Stephen, you probably don't want to be hanging out with any of those gals over in where he's at. He's out in some different terrain in the Middle East. A lot of resort. Well, I wouldn't even trust resorts. I mean, there are. I mean, just be very safe. That's what I would say. Be overprotective of yourself. I really do want to see. I want to go to Vietnam. I want to go to Thailand. I want to go to Spain. I've never been to Europe. No worries about your typos, brother. JC, from my experience with the LDS gal, they tend to just believe everything is okay in the world and you can wait for the afterlife. He's not wrong. I'm not leaving the country just to pay. You can do it here. In fact, it's cheaper. Just go to Mustang Ranch. When my dad was in the Navy, one guy would spit in his beer so no one would drink it while he was gone to the John. Thing is, everyone then spit in his beer too. Ugh. John Boston, legendary John, just joining in, and you said it's always a man's fault. Yep, I like the clip. It's always Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault. Well, I don't think a lot of men will listen to me, but yeah, mixed drinks. Unless you see them mixed in front of you, but it's very rare that a lot of them will mix them in. I would like to see them open the tequila and have them, hey, will you go ahead and drink that before me, taste it for me? That might work. If it's a high-end resort, that might be okay, Greg. But if you're at a club, no. Walk away. 18% of men are now opting out for escort services. Well, it's going to get bigger. I think there's going to be an underground prosty market that is not, but you got to be safe there too. Banging an Arab girl who played the fake pregnancy was lucky to get out of that shit show. I keep my dick in my pants now. Be safe. They can pull all sorts of shit. Doesn't even have to be pregnant. They can say you were controlling, if you know what I mean. Just give it more time. It's not about the woman. It's about you and your decision to simply not be in a relationship. Tell me what a relationship brings for men outside of sex. Very few are tolerable to hang out with. Taking the drink. Well, in Mexico, you can. I mean, there's a lot of places you can take the drink. I think humanity has failed. The level of selfishness is unbelievable. For example, chucking trillions of pounds into nukes while people are starving. You're not wrong, brother. Nico has retired. I just saw that. What a great ride he had. He's the drummer, right? Greg stays at Rio. I know people that stay at Rio. I mean, it's a solid higher clientele, but you never know. Just be careful on some of those places, especially off a resort area. Now, it's probably safer at those areas, but you never know. You could be sitting next to somebody. Doesn't have to be the bartender. Don't leave your drink unattended. I almost stayed at the Rio one time. Is there an authentic tequila made in Mexico? There are. There's some that never come out here. It's even mezcal. You have to buy them, but companies now sell straws that turn colors when they detect common drugs. Hold on, guys. I got to use the bathroom. All right, I'm back. I'm back. 1 hour and 21 minutes for all you wackos. Interesting. Straws, that would be a great business. Well, most people don't really understand. They don't really, it probably would be a horrible business actually, because most people don't understand it. You go to an area as a passport. Let's say you go to Dominican. Batman went to Dominican, had a great time. Said, whatever you do not drink a mixed drink unless you buy the alcohol yourself and make it yourself in your hotel room. And you go down to the pool. Most of these places, most of these passport bros that get deleted, they get robbed, they drink a mixed drink, most of them. That's how they get them. I mean, it's unfortunate, but a lot of guys are too trusting. You can't trust. I mean, I don't trust anybody, really. I trust more of you guys than anybody. Rather, your lives impromptu or on a schedule? Oh, it depends. I kind of go impromptu a lot. Sometimes I'll do one that's got 2 or 3 day advance. But sometimes when I have something to say, I don't really care. I just jump on. I only trust the best tequila from Mexico, none of that cheap kind, says Mega. What kind do you like? Reposado? Añejo? There really is no anti-female red pill backlash content creator. Well, not yet. What? We don't hate women. Women are beautiful. Excuse me. Women are the most beautiful creatures ever created in this world. By whoever created it. God, the Anunnaki, Thoth, who knows? We try to understand women based on experiences we've come out of. And a lot of men go back to the same experience with a different name and a different hair color. That's it. And it's going to be worse. Reposado. You got to roll your R. Reposado. I have been to every war zone on earth, love the Latinas, and scared to go to most Latin countries. Latin countries are not scary at all. I wonder why there is no female Mustang ranch. Because they don't need one. They can just get on Tinder and have literally 50 guys within 10 minutes. Foreign governments need to crack down on spiked drinks. Yeah. I mean, people get spiked here in Utah. They use that Rohypnol or whatever. From what I can tell, you had to be drinking for a while, then you get careless with the drink, and bam, your drink is spiked. They might not spike your drink. Yes, correct. It's unfortunate. I mean, really is. If that could be your number one tip, obviously don't be in areas that are sketchy. And to do that, you probably need to research. If I went to Turkey, I would spend a lot of time on TripAdvisor and Reddit. What are the areas to visit? Now, I wouldn't do some stupid tour. I don't do tour buses, but just what is the cool areas that people go to, and you can go from there. And then, certain hotels, and you look at reviews and things like that, and just kind of put an itinerary together, how to get around. If you're unsure about driving, is there Uber? Is there a train? Are there local buses? Great thing about Latin America is there's always a bus. There's a micro bus, there's a big bus, there's a small bus, there's a school bus. You can get around. I mean, they're the original Ubers if you think about it. They went on every street. But you got to know what you're doing. Even ugly ladies they throw down too. And they got a lot of guys. I've seen a lot of heavy girls. They get a lot of cack. The problem with escorts and professionals is, honestly, most men want love and connection, and you're not going to find it with a hooker. You tend to feel worse afterwards. How about all those guys that go to strip clubs that fall in love with the strippers, and they give them all this money, and then they get their hearts broken? Like they're so delusional, thinking a hooker, because he gives her so much money and attention, is going to fall for him. It's sad. Tour buses, yep. Depending on where you're at, Jora. Well said. Yeah. It's an empty feeling. I mean, intimacy should be explored on an emotional level too. That's why men and women got married, to have an intimate emotional bond. I've done them both. I've done a physical and I've done an emotional. Obviously, emotionals combined with physical, but I've done physicals without the emotions. It is what it is. TripAdvisor is good, Greg. Well said. Booking's okay. But TripAdvisor gets, to me, I like the reviews on most people. There's a lot of Facebook pages now that, there's a Cabo San Lucas group. There's all sorts of groups where you can just, hey, I'm flying in here. What do you recommend for a bed and breakfast, or, a studio hotel room or whatever. Yes, they are not trying to get pregnant. They want repeat customers. They want to give you a very productive session. They want you to come back. They want a tip. They're clean, but they've been ran through. I mean, they're basically a utility. Unfortunately, they might give you an hour of cuddle and intimacy, and you might feel better about yourself. But at the end of the day, don't you look at that you have to look at it as this is a physical and financial transaction. It's not an emotional. But if you feel some physical warm fuzzies because of it, there's some men that can deal with that. They can go once every 3 months and meet up with someone at Mustang, and it takes care of their needs. There's others that go and they fall in love with the first gal that they sleep with at the Mustang Ranch. They haven't been able to remove the transactional nature because they're seeing a woman, even though they're paying for it, it's kissing him or hugging him or, whatever. Most of the Mustang Ranch's customers are married men. Go figure. Married men and young men, 17 or 18-year-old boys that have never had anything. Why is that? Why do married men visit escorts and, intimacy houses in Mustang and Reno? Why do they do that? What does that say about marriage? Are married men that much of pigs that they have to go pay for it? Aren't they paying for it already? Telling you what, if you spent $80,000 seeing a woman over 10 years, you'd probably be 10 times ahead than if you were married to a woman. Let that sink in. Every woman I've slept with took a piece of me emotionally. It's erosive even for. I think men that sleep with lots of women, like hundreds of women, is not good mentally. There's that one goofball online. He's a PUA. He lives in Brazil, and he claims he slept with like 1,900 women. That destroys the men too. We talk about microchimerism, women that have the 1,000 cock stare. That's not good. Women are not good with multiple men, multiple penises in their vagina. Unfortunately, they're not good because women are very emotional. That semen, that sperm, that ejaculation is going to connect with their uterine walls and go all the way to their brain. Microchimerism. Now, men that have sex very young at 13 or 14, F some up too. Men that have multiple women that see, they're very hollow inside. So what Trogue says, 100%, it's erosive. It's not good. It's better to have an emotional bond, but nowadays I mean, it's very, very rare that you'll find an emotional. You will most women that you like today have already slept with multiple men. Let that sink in. I'm hearing a lot of stories, says Siat, about 304s having their tricks bushwhacked in the States. Interesting. You might not be wrong. Never visit the establishments in Nevada, but know guys who have, and the prices they talked about. Yeah, apparently aren't they like $2,000 or something for like 4 hours? But you know what? They can charge that because men aren't getting poontang anymore. Lamar Odom, he went to one of them. Remember the old Lakers guy? Apparently he's dating a transgender woman now. Lamar Odom, look it up. You can sleep with 1,900 women, but you suck one dick, and that guy recommend that every man be with a transformer. That dude, I'm telling you, that guy is empty as hell. And I don't believe anything he says, by the way. But he's got a bunch of simps that pay for his stuff. And, it is what it is. It's a free world. It's a capitalistic world we live in. Wildlife says double tax. That is double taxation. Well said. Men need to accept the fact that women are women. Women will do what women do. And today's modern woman is not recommended, unfortunately. If a woman opens her mouth, you can tell a red flag. The way she speaks to you, the way she speaks to others, the way she speaks to a waiter, a waitress, a neighbor, a male person, mailman, male woman. You can tell by what they wear. If they have big hoops, they have Botox, fillers, big lips, extensions, fake breasts. How do they dress? We don't need to be told they're red flags. We can see them and hear them very quickly. Unfortunately, most women that you like have had multiple partners. It's just the day and age we live in. Do we accept it or we reject it? Do we say that no Walt? I'm sure there's a few no Walts out there. Good luck finding them. My friends told me the cheapest on a slow night with an ugly chick, $500 to $750, but any good looking with 1,000. Yep. It's expensive, man. And you're only getting 18 seconds of play. Not even 18 seconds when you blow wad. It's like 1 second. And then when you're done, you roll off and you're like, I want to get the hell out of here. Or I want my back scratched. You want to be left alone. We're very simple creatures. But whoever said, at the end of the day, men have to process this. We have to process our emotions and circumstances and our feelings, or we're going to make bad decisions again. How many men remarry after a divorce because they haven't learned how to accept it? They haven't learned how to move their energy. They haven't learned the pros and cons. They haven't talked to other guys. They think that they got to get married because that's what society wants them. I got to be remarried or I'm going to be thought of as a weirdo. And now they're in bad contracts again. My friends told me that, okay, I said that. Bookshop. Okay, Stephen. I put my faith in Christ. The perfect woman was and is Mary. She was perfect in humility and a perfect example for women to look up to. The Virgin Mary. Unfortunately, I wish more women looked up to her because they would be virgins too. Good to see Ishi's down in California. It's probably got off a day of work dealing with wacko Gen Z and millennial parents. Trogue says post-nut financial regret. Not only do you have post-nut, you don't have a woman you can tie your wagons to. Now you're $2,000 less. Post-nut financial clarity. Love it. You don't get cuddle time. Better keep pounding for an hour straight to get your money's worth, because once you're finished, she is finished. You're not wrong, brother. Now, I've never had to pay for any of that. I don't know what it's like, but I can just imagine that if you can afford it and you want to pay for it, hopefully you're probably going to get a good product. But again, don't eat the whole candy bar in one bite. Nibble at it, as Steven says. One bite at a time. Get your hour's worth, or 4 hours, or whatever. So, it is what it is, folks. We're living in a very interesting time. Right now, the world is different. I'm optimistic, but anything can change. One piece of lead can take out Mr. T. When you work out the cost of a pro versus a wife per time, the pro is cheaper. Well said, Brother Trope. John says there are thousands of single mothers giving it up for free. Then they get ghosted. They know that a single mother, most men do not want their single kids. There are Sims that'll take them on. They know the only way they can get a man is to put out, and then the man ghosts him. Look, if you're going to hang out and do the 1, 2, 3 throws within 4 weeks and get out, I would never ghost them. That will make a woman extremely angry and could potentially set you up with the popo. Always be cordial and respectful after you've laid down with a lady. Send a nice message. Did you make it home? It was great to see you. Would love to see you again. You're an amazing person, or something like that. Don't ghost him. Don't, whatever you do. Even Greg Adams says that. Marriage is the most expensive form of prostitution, says Polska. Well said, brother. Stephen says, I did once in Amsterdam. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Check mark single man's bucket list, but if I could go back in time, it was nothing special, and now being Christian, it's a sin. Fornication is a sin. Ant-Man, good to see you. Being a real man great again. Great work, bro. Good to see you, Ant-Man. Can't remember where Ant-Man's from. I'm a single mom in Texas, and I'm giving birth to another kid in 2 months. What should I do? My old boyfriend left me. I'm a single mom in Texas, and I'm giving birth to another kid. Is it the same baby daddy or a different baby daddy? What should I do? My old boyfriend left me. That I can't help you with, because I'm not a woman or a mother. But I guess focus on your kids, teach them the correct principles, maybe go to church, seek forgiveness, and work on yourself. For fat women love doing squats, then waving the thick flag. It's bigger muscle under fat. Cardio. ABC equals anything but cardio. A lot of heavy women's out there. So you have different men. Yeah, Steven says, find a good woman channel. Unfortunately, this channel, we don't seek single mothers with kids. It doesn't bode well for most men. But if you can find a good church group or a good woman's channel that can help you, and maybe get good family members, that would be good. My brother married 2 single mothers, and both of them didn't work out, unfortunately. But teach your kids great teach your kids good values. How about that? Brooklyn. Ant-Man's from Brooklyn. That's where Jerron Markel's from. You got to hook up with that dude. Thanks for liking the videos, Jax. There you go. Lots of single moms, unfortunate. You know, back in the 50s and 60s and 70s and even 80s, there was a girl in high school that got pregnant in she was my year. She was 15 as a sophomore, 15, and they sent her to North Carolina to have the baby. She went to like a pregnant schoolgirl school, had the baby, and they came back. I think she gave it up for adoption. No, she did not give it up for adoption. Then she dropped out of school and got her GED. She got married to the guy that knocked her up. They got divorced. But yeah, they sent them away back in those days. It wasn't frowned upon, but you know, it is what it is. We just be respectful of folks. You know, unfortunately, decisions have consequences. We've seen man versus survive and women versus wild. It's really wild that anyone that thinks that women, the fact that they can try to survive the men. Well, I'm sure there's some men wimps that have tapped out, but for the most part, yeah, men are stronger. JC says, spend 15 minutes every day planning the day, the week, the year, and retirement. A lot of men will be able to retire at 55. Many women will be working the good age of 90. Yeah, absolutely. Get out of debt. Live minimalistically. Don't follow the trends. Make shame great again. Who makes my frames? I got this off. They're called yesglasses.com, and the style is Senda, Senda, yesglasses.com. I like Gladiator. Now, the first movie's always good. It was a good story, though, the second one. Lots of single mothers out there. Gladiator 1 was actually a really good movie, but they sadly couldn't make a good sequel. It was okay. I mean, it was a good story. It was entertaining. It wasn't as good as the first. There's never going to be a good movie like the first one. Top Gun 2 was good. I would say it was 95% of the first one. I liked it, but maybe I was just anticipating it for so long. We're not being mean. It's honest advice meant in love. Find a good woman channel that rejects. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of women that have had single women that have kids that turn their lives around. Unfortunately, a lot of men won't stay with a lot of women that have multiple baby daddies. It is what it is, and we wish her well. And hopefully she finds a nice man, maybe at church, that would be willing to be her partner, or her husband and the father, and step up. So if you're listening, we wish you well, and we can see why a lot of guys they'll skip town once they knock a woman up, which if you're going to knock a woman up, you better take responsibility. Any woman to reject feminism always has a chance to turn it around. Sure. Absolutely. Are you not entertained? The government supports single men. Well, the problem is it's not the man's kids. It's very difficult for most men to take on other women's kids. I would not do that. I don't care how, and I don't typically, no, I've dated single moms, but I've really wanted nothing more than 6 weeks or less. I don't want to, I'm a father of 3. I don't want any more kids. It was difficult enough to just take care of my 3 kids. LSD. LSD. Shout out to LSD. Where are you from, brother? I like your moniker. I get it. Timothy O'Leary. Go read the book about Ram Dass. It was Timothy O'Leary's colleague. He went to Mexico and went to India and became Ram Dass. Great story. Based on LSD. I had a kid at 17, Casey Misso. When things are hard, you can't give up, no matter what keeps fighting to make it, though. I'm 30. After years of busting, I'm a construction superintendent with a high school diploma. Good for you. Boy, 17. Man, now your kid's 13. How did it change your life? But you turned it around. As for the layout of LA, American people will run LA in the next 20. Armenian will run it in 20 years. The family unit and resources are alive and well in the culture. Yeah, Armenians are family oriented. Great food too. Best sequel ever, Back to the Future 2, says Ishi. The rise and fall of the nuclear family, we can guarantee that the Chinese are making their jets better. Well, they do a lot of things good. Our taxes support the single moms. You are the father, persona non grata. Carl says, Retire and Go channel is a great one where this guy lost his family, his job, and had 60K debt. In 8 years, he retired to Thailand and is living the dream. It can be done. Absolutely. I'm sure most of here love women. They are beautiful, amazing, smell good, but we are traveling on a different road. All we can do is give them directions and wish them luck. Great advice, Stephen. I know a lot of guys that stepped up and all of them said it's super difficult and it's not theirs. Absolutely. It's difficult to be a father regardless. From what I can gather, the Chinese government is already making booming. Gotcha. I see what you're saying. I'm Chinese. What should I do? What should you do about what? Tell us the issue. My baby mom and I co-parent very well. It's a lot easier when you just get along. Well said, Casey. Well, congrats to you for turning your life around at such a young age. I had a roommate in college that knocked his girlfriend at 18. And man, the look on his face. But, he's had 6 kids since. He's a grandfather, and he's been able to put it together. But it wasn't easy for several years, especially at 18, man. When I was 18, yeah, I couldn't take care of a kid. I hardly take care of myself. Terminator 2. Polska likes Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Great listening in live, Rad. Hope I can tune into another one. Take care. Good to have you, brother. Terminator 2 for the sequel win. It wasn't easy. I bet, man. At 17, you're still a minor. Well, good for you. Share your story with people. Get a channel. Was that he was already lacking behind? The Chinese were already thinking outside the box. Chinese in the last 40 years have been quite decisive. Those mofos have turned their little land of rice paddies and traditional culturism to a thriving. Now, there's some sketchiness. I don't want to say anything, but what they do with their currency and everything, but they run everything. I mean, they basically are the superpower of the world. They make all products. 90% of all products are made in China. A lot of those sequels have gone woke. Nedger, my dad is a Rothschild Mason. I'm 19 years old, and I think he's up to bad stuff. I don't know what that means, brother. But hopefully you can, if it's bad, you can get away from it. I'm waiting for them to fix Star Wars. Star Wars has gone so woke. A woman Jedi. Casey he should make a channel for young guys that have, I think it'd be great. We'll push it. Guys, this has been a great live stream. We'll see you on the next one. Get some sleep. And thanks for participating. Your comments, your voices, and your experience is always recommended. And we do not offend people on this site, this channel. We do not hate women. We are respectful of all that are respectful of us. So it is what it is. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for being here, and catch Polska's stream later as he goes live with Ike. I'm out. Peace.